Welcome to a look back for the last 6 months of the Pinecrest market. I'm here with Cris Buzoline, our Pinecrest expert, and we're going to cover the 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 5, and the 5 plus market for Pinecrest. So let's get this going. The 0 to 1, the entry level of the market, and we're standing here in South Pinecrest, which is where you're going to be dealing with those kind of homes. Cris, talk us through where is the market, where has it been, where is it going, and what are we seeing?
Seller's market. We have an example here of a house that it was under contract in 11 days.
Short. And we're finding a lot of that's happening within this period of time. And that's because we have very low months of inventory, which is?
Yes, less than 6 months of inventory.
So up to $1 million. What is a typical sale?
Well, this house behind us, it was an example of a house that was sold in 11 days, got under contract in 11 days.
Yeah, and it comes in at a low dollar per square foot. If you look in the Pinecrest market, we're dealing with what, 310, 311?
330.
330? Very low numbers. And how does that compare being a Grosvenor Gables guy? If you go into the Grosvenor Gables, you're in at 389 for Coral Gables, you're in at 440 for Coconut Grove. So you get a lot more for your money. How much more do you get? What can you get under $1 million? How many square feet was this house?
3,500.
And the lot?
16,000.
Much bigger. You can't get these size lots in the Grosvenor Gables. So the takeaway message here up to $1 million mark is it's a hot market.
Super hot market.
It's driven by families. And it will give you a better value for Coconut Grove or Coral Gables to buy in Pinecrest. So moving on to the $1 to $2 million range in Pinecrest. Cris, very quickly, take us through the numbers.
Well-balanced market, under 9 months of inventory, and homes are being traded between 400 to 460 square foot. And
new homes are running at about 500. Now, as a Gables expert, I'll tell you that that is a little under what we trade at in the Gables. It can be somewhat similar. However, the difference is much bigger lots.
Yes, an example is 7515 Southwest 124.
So with new homes coming in at under $2 million, which is really quite difficult to do in Coral Gables and Coconut Grove, how is it possible that we can see these kind of new homes being built?
Well, here the price of the land is a lot lower than Coral Gables and Coconut Grove.
Yeah, because there's so much more of it. I mean, again, Grove is very small as a geographic area, and the Grove and the Gables as wider markets just don't have big lots. There's not so much land available. Now, as we move into the $2 to $3 million market, we're walking down a very leafy cul-de-sac in Pinecrest. Cris, take us through the numbers and tell us what the product is in this market.
Okay, so now the market softens a little bit. We have 11.2 months of inventory, but you still get like bigger homes, beautiful cul-de-sac street.
As we walk down the street, and this is a note to the gentleman we just met talking about the market, what is it that draws a buyer down here? What's going to draw you down here in this 2 to 3 million range? Well, of course, we know it's bigger lots for starters. We know we have a lot of good schools down here. What's different and what might be a variance against Coconut Grove and Coral Gables is that you've got more direct accessibility to those big private schools, which you know about, for example, Palmer Trinity.
For sure. Gulliver, Palmer Trinity, Westminster, you have super easy access to those schools, and also to the public schools that has the highest rate in the Dade County.
And all the chance to let your actual children, in some cases, cycle their way to school without having to drive them. This is one of the conveniences for this market.
So let me give you some stats on this market.
Now we move into the heavy hitting market of $3 to $5 million in Pinecrest. And once again, I'm going to ask Cris, what are the key stats within this market? And actually, what does it mean? What does it represent to the buyers?
Well, we have 23 months of inventory, which means that it's almost 2 years to sell your house. So the product that is selling is newer homes, modern homes, not the colonial Mediterranean style.
Yeah, we've constantly found this in other neighborhoods, including Coconut Grove and Coral Gables and South Miami, High Pines, Ponce Davis, that the appetite is for the newer transitional construction. The Mediterranean is much harder to sell.
Yes.
And again, if it's architecturally really, really grand, we find that there's a lot of wasted space that people don't want. So it's more about quality, not quantity.
Exactly. And the clientele that we have here for this price point, it's families that have older kids and usually goes to Gulliver, Palmer Trinity, and Westminster.
Yeah, they're further down the, shall we say, the family evolutionary process. Their kids are now out of the lower grade schools, elementary, sometimes transitioning out of middle, and they're into the high schools. So the more affluent families, their kids are older, so their lifestyles lead them to have the need for more space. Obviously, it doesn't need to be beyond 7,000 and 8,000 square feet. So it definitely means having more than just a 10 or a 12,000 square foot lot. So let's help those buyers looking in the $3 to $5 million range in Pinecrest. Where should they be looking?
They should be looking north of 107th Street.
And what about a working example that we've seen sell in the last 6 months?
We have an example on 122nd Street. It's a little further south.
So the $5 million plus mark in Pinecrest. Let's discuss the what and the why. Cris, you're the expert. What's happened in the last 6 months?
Very few sales. Actually, just only one sale on the last 6 months.
And what was that product?
It was like big homes over 7,000 square feet in a more than 1 acre lot.
And it's interesting because we've only had one sale. Why are we seeing so few sales over the $5+ million mark for Pinecrest?
Well, actually, what is happening is like people in this price range, usually they look for waterfront homes, right?
Yeah.
We see those sales in Coral Gables.
Yeah, so as a Coral Gables expert, and you can read the Coral Gables report, you'll see that in the last 6 months, we've had 19 sales over $5 million. 17 of those have been on the water. So it's no surprise that once you come into Pinecrest where you're not on the water, you will not find much product over the $5 million mark. But what you will find is product like this, sitting on an acre. Quite exceptional. So appropriately, we're sitting in this beautiful kitchen, timeless and beautiful, within this outskirts of a Pinecrest home. And we're going to explain, you're going to explain to everyone why so few sales and what the problem is.
We are seeing 3 years of inventory, and most of the product that we see right now is homes, really big homes, more than 7,000 square feet under air. And right now, the lifestyle of the people change. Nobody is looking for those kind of homes anymore.
Yeah, we have the same problem in Coconut Grove and Coral Gables. Actually, probably less so. It's more exaggerated here because lots are so much bigger. And I think what we're finding now, and I think we can all agree, is that quality will overrun quantity. Once you get over 7,000 under air, there is a significant half-life to the value of the extra square footage that you have on the house. In fact, we've calculated it as around half. Finally, advice for our buyers and sellers. Advice for our buyers.
Definitely a buyer's market. Here you get more for your money than Coral Gables and Coconut Grove.
And level of quality, top of the line, appropriately, this kind of high level of quality that you see here today. Advice for our sellers.
So be realistic that you are competing with waterfront homes in Coral Gables and Coconut Grove.
And recognize that if you've got over 7,000 square feet under air, that you're dealing with a half-life of around 50%. So if you have these 10, 11, 12, 15,000 square foot mega mansions, you are not going to get the same dollar per square foot on the lower range, and it is going to be very challenging to sell. My advice to builders, don't build 12, 15,000 square foot homes. It's a challenge. So, as always, read our blogs, read our reports, call us, WhatsApp, and further communication. Remember that our neighborhood economic health score is updated by the day, giving you updated information on your dollar per square foot, your months of inventory, your asking price to your sales price, and your days on the market. And we'll see you soon.